Hello world. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. It is the 1st of January 2025, and I titled the stream 1st of Janus 2025. I don't know how the Romans pronounced it, but if you look up Janus, it's very interesting what you'll find. What happened to Janus? Okay, seems I have had some technical difficulties there. Let me just quickly away. Okay, cool. So if you check that window there, Janus is the Roman god of associated with beginnings, endings, transitions, and duality. It's like the first of the month, I guess, the month of January. Janus is often depicted with two faces, one looking forward and one looking to the past. Represents his role, looking forward, one looking back. Okay, to represent his role as the god of transitions. He's also known for holding a key in his right hand, which symbolizes his protection of doors and gates. So that's Janus, after whom January is named. The irony is that January usually comes after the festival of Saturnalia, which starts on the 25th of December to the 31st of December, or the festive season, as it's come to be known now. And that usually involves spending a lot on the gifts and ornaments and the festivities. So by the time January comes, by the time the month of Janus comes, it's a time for reflection indeed. So one face has to look forward to the year because it's beginning, and then one face has to look back at the festivities and the cost of the festivities, in whatever matrix one is considering them. So that's the 1st of Janus. I think I'll continue a different stream for a different purpose. So this day I started without a particular intention, except the overall intention that I've been sustaining, which is everyone's intention, I suppose, to accumulate enough currency to be able to spend on every whim, essentially, to have that much leeway. Now, when one aims for such, there's suggestions from multiple authorities, and there's recommended pathways the machine is built in a certain way that one must interact with in order to manifest currency. But business runs on desire, essentially. The aspect that considers the system is the company. It's the company aspect of the business, but the business part is just social dynamics, which is why many social let's not call them social, which is why many occult businesses are not really companies. They stay in the underground forever, because the framework of the companies is the bureaucracy is is something else. So the intention is the same intention as every day. Suppose it's a Pinky and the Brain episode. You know what we're gonna do today is try and get all of the money. Yes. That would be quite the episode, eh? So the same intention as every day, but I met an elderly gentleman. I think he's in his 60s. Is selling cotton candy. He's been selling cotton candy for 30 something years, and he trips a lot. He travels a lot, and his travelings are not his travelings, not his trips, like his demeanor, his aura, his okay, this wasn't supposed to be about the aura. It was actually supposed to be about his name. It's just that when we spoke first, we spoke without introducing our names, and after the conversation had gone on for a while, only then did I interrupt it and introduce names. And then he went religious, essentially, because his name is Sbusiso, which means blessing, and the encounter with him is a blessing, in the sense that the framework of meta consciousness, when expanded into the B100 program, the B100 Community Development Program, becomes something that's quite nebulous without an army of people behind it. And he's one of the people who are involved in he has his own mini cultivation. It's not really mini compared to what can be achieved in a township landscape, but it's mini in the commercial sense. Not that I own a commercial entity, but it's productive, and the only problem is livestock at present, and that roams and eats, even though he has fencing. So I promised him that we would find greenhouse material, essentially. I just couldn't explain the whole greenhouse concept. I just told him we'll meet people who do greenhouses, so I'll start with that first and see how close they are. And I intended this to be a report on just the proceedings of a day that is left to the possibilities. A thought that kept on hitting me today, even though I refused to settle on a particular intention beyond the main intention. A thought that kept on hitting me was, in as much as everything is possible, in any moment or in every moment, there are some things which are possible and some things which are not, and that is determined by the moment. So in as much as all moments contain all possibilities, some possibilities are locked in some moments. This would seem obvious to someone, but for whatever reason, it wasn't apparent to me, and it seems like a revelation every time I ruminate and I go over it. Like, it brings significance to moments as opposed to the story, because I had gotten to a point where reality seemed boring, so to speak, because all the stories were or are underwhelming. When one exists in the states of consciousness that are accepted for a person to enter into, the typical stock package of consciousness, then certain stories will have some significance, like your body, which is a language model in the same sense that what people consider AI today is. But that language model interacts with a chemical model, a very complex chemical model, which involves biological organisms like gut flora, your skin flora. So all of that machinery works as a whole, and we call it your body and your being. And in the feedback of the let's continue with being. In your being, because to break it down further it's just it's becoming too convoluted. This body, by virtue of it being a language model, can enter into many states of consciousness or many modes of being. Yoga, for example, asanas and mudras and mandalas. They are all contortions that bring rise to specific states of consciousness. They make possible specific states of consciousness. Sometimes tweaking the chemical aspect is enough to like alter the machinery, and that would be like eating sugar, for example, and becoming hyper, or drinking caffeinated beverages or alcoholic beverages or probiotic beverages for that matter, because probiotic beverages, although they might not work immediately, in the long run, when you've balanced out your colony, it'll result in an overall shift in one's state of consciousness. And then there's like entheogens, which are like a completely different field altogether. But nonetheless, they shift and they make possible certain states. So there are many modes of being, but they are not all possible at the same time. And as much as everything is possible, there are absolutes. So certain setting. Janus, after whom January is named, represents certain setting. The idea was that this entity held a key which represented it controlling the doors. The key being the method by which a person shifts consciousness. Because a door is redundant unless the person changes consciousness when they enter and they adjust to the room that they've entered into. So the two-faced Janus, who looks to the future and to the past, was looking at December in the previous year and January in the year to come, considers such things. This is, of course, the modern version of the calendar. Not that January is called Janus, it's not. I just decided to name it Janus because it was based on Janus, and we were about to delve into the meaning of Janus. So, that's Janus, the first. Did we leave anything out that I wanted to mention? No, we did not. 20 minutes, that's fair.